Hey, how's it going? Thanks for being here. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my first impressions of some niche fragrances that have a vegetal quality to them. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Whitney, and here on my channel, you mostly find fragrance-based entertainment, but I sometimes like to throw in other content here and there just for fun. And if you're a returning subscriber, hi. So if you're interested to see how these veggie scents smell, then let's get into it. So this video was inspired by the new year. So first of all, Happy New Year to you guys. This is the first video of the new year for me, so I'm excited to be here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So this video was inspired by getting myself together again, as it usually is in the beginning of the year. I kind of take it as a chance to not even start over, but get back on track with goals. And one of those are my fitness goals. And I thought it would be kind of cool to take inspiration from eating more of my vegetables and translating that into fragrance exploration. So that is what has inspired today's video. So I'm super excited to get into these 5 fragrances. I've never smelled any of these before, so you're going to be getting the true first reaction to these scents, and I've gotten them all from scentsplit.com. This video is not sponsored, but if y'all want to sponsor me, you're welcome to do so. So let's dive into these scents, shall we? Okay, so first up we have Rouge, and this comes from Comme des Garçons, and I have Fragrantica open to go through the notes with you guys. So in the top there's notes of beetroot and pink pepper. In the mid there's ginger and mint, and in the base there's incense, labdanum, and patchouli. So this fragrance was released in 2020, and I mean, it's kind of obvious why it's here. I got beet, and beets are one of my favorite root vegetables, so I'm excited to see how that's been translated into a perfume. All of the samples I have are 1 ml because hello, budget, but also they were having a promotion at the time of me purchasing them, so also another reason why I got them. But anyway, I'm excited. I feel like there's a method to opening them that I haven't mastered yet, but oh well. At least you know it's secure in terms of packaging. Okay. I'm trying to avoid it like splashing up. Okay. So this is Rouge, and I'm going to do it on my left wrist. And I'm going to need to make a conscious effort to remember because, so it is kind of woody from first sniff. And I have no fragrance on me today, but I will say okay. So it smells, so it's very earthy, almost oody in nature. There's a slight sweetness to it. And to be honest, you know what this reminds me of on first sniff? It reminds me of, I believe it's my rose and oud candle from Nest. It ended up melting slightly, and I think it's just because of the temperature here. And I accidentally got some of it on my hands, not knowing what it was. I thought it was lotion or something, and then because I had it packed up away and I was grabbing into the container that it was in, and that scent has been lingering on my skin for a while, even though I've scrubbed and stuff. So I was like, oh no, it's still on me, but this just smells like that. But it smells good. But I feel like this is definitely one that anyone would be able to pull off, but if you like very earthy, rooty scents. Do I smell the beet? Perhaps. There's a bit of that sharpness that I sometimes taste when I eat beets, and even the slight sweetness, but I would definitely describe this as earthy with a slight sweet undertone. But it is interesting smelling. It has like a little bit of a woodiness too. I thought of pencils, but it's not super pencily in nature, but it does have a certain woodiness that smells familiar. On first sniff, I don't think this is something that I necessarily would want to wear though, but it is nice. And can't say for sure if I smell the beet. I probably do because of that sweetness. But yeah, child, okay, it's not bad. So next up I have Santal du Pacifique, and this comes from the house of Perris, Monte Carlo. And the vegetable featured in this is carrot, and that note is in the top exclusively. In the mid there's violet, gurgeon balsam, lip gloss, and orchid, and sandalwood and musk in the base. Now sometimes the notes in Fragrantica aren't actually the notes that are in the fragrances, or at least they don't match the note listings, like the official note listings. I have my iPad in my hand. The official note listings that are released by the fragrance houses. And I say that because the lip gloss note, I'm like, part of me is like, is there really a lip gloss note, or was there something lost in translation? Either way, That's what it says. So let's see how it smells, shall we? Okay, we're gonna do it on my right wrist. I don't really smell anything just yet, but oh, ooh, ooh. Okay, that smells good. It smells pleasant. It actually has like a clean smelling vibe to it. It reminds me of something from like the 90s. I'm transported to one of my like fancy aunt's homes. Okay. Do I smell the carrot? Perhaps. Again, carrots have that kind of rooty sweetness, but more sweet than beetroot smell to them, taste to them. So I would say this is one that I feel like I can smell the powdery floral aspect to it, right? And there is a subtle sweetness, but there again is that rootiness that I feel the carrot note is giving. I also didn't want to look too much into the, what's it called? The accords to kind of, I wanted to give you all my authentic, unbiased, unlearned opinion. But yeah, for me, this is powdery floral, but it has a rooty sweetness to it, and it's very subtle and soft, but also has a clean kind of vibe to it. And clean as in soapy, but not overly so. Again, this is one I feel like anybody, doesn't matter who you are, could pull this off. I think it just depends on what kind of taste you have, but I didn't overload my wrist, but I feel like this is potentially one that wears closer to the skin, because I've had dabber samples that have like blown me away in terms of their projection. So based on my experience right now, this is probably one that wears a little bit closer to the skin. But if you own the scent, let me know down below in the comment section how this wears on you, because I'm curious. So next up we have Land of Warriors, and this comes from the house of the Vagabond Prince. So the vegetal note in here is cucumber, and I'm just making sure there's not more than one. Yes. Oh, well, there's tomato leaf as well, but the one that piqued my interest was cucumber. So they don't have it broken down into top, mid, or base, but they do have millions of notes that I'm going to read for you. So there's leather, violet leaf, birch, styrax, tomato leaf, oak tree, pomegranate, angelica, castoreum, ambergris, cucumber, labdanum, oregano, black currant leaf, nutmeg, artemisia, olibanum, saffron, clementine, and bergamot. So based on that, I feel like this is gonna smell animalic, maybe a little woody, maybe a little fruity, and green. So let's see how Land of Warriors smells. Okay, so I can smell it already. It kind of reminds me of men's cologne, just without thinking too much into it, but it has like a classic men's cologne kind of vibe to it. And to be honest, I only, within the past, I think 10 years, did I actually start liking to eat cucumbers. So I was like, this will be a bit of a challenge in terms of trying a fragrance that has cucumber as a note. Oh, this is nice. So even though it kind of smells like men's cologne, it has like a freshness to it and a slight sweetness that makes it not smell overly masculine to me. So it does smell green, but it also smells I feel like the word zingy is coming to mind. It almost wants to smell like high-end men's shampoo. It doesn't smell overly woody on my skin or anything. And it doesn't smell super animalic either. But there's a freshness to it and a slight sweetness that I like. And I like, even though, but there's a bit of a round note as I breathe out when I finish smelling it that I like. Hold on. It's slightly sweet again, but it's not, that's not the leading accord. Yeah, I don't, I want to say maybe I'm smelling the cucumber because there's maybe a mild aquaticness to it. And I feel like that's potentially coming from the cucumber, where, cucumbers have like a watery smell and taste to them. That's kind of what I'm getting. But it just has a very fresh, could be a bath product smell to it, but it doesn't smell cheap and it doesn't smell boring. I feel like more of the animalic qualities are coming out now, but it's not off-putting. Oh, that was a lot of spit. It isn't off-putting, but I feel like so far this is something that I would prefer to smell on a guy as opposed to me wearing it, but it is super pleasant and I like it. So next up, I have body paint, and this is from Vilhelm Parfumerie. So the vegetal notes in here, there are two. There's green pepper and there is red chili pepper. So in the top, there's that green pepper, red chili pepper, pear, and lemon. In the mid, there's clove, iso e super, and nutmeg. And in the base, there's oak moss, ambroxan, and cedar. So based on this, I'm feeling like this is probably going to smell super masculine to me, and I'm thinking the vegetal notes are going to lead. It's going to be super spicy and super aroma chemically, which I like aroma chemicals, but nothing. I mean, the pear is there. I was thinking like I'm not going to be surprised if it's not sweet at all, which are sometimes fragrances like that sometimes challenge me. But I think this is advertised as it's for women and men, and I just glanced. It says it's a sheepere fruity fragrance. So I might actually end up liking this because I'm a fan of sheepere scents. So let's see how it smells. And this is my first time trying any scents from Vilhelm Parfumerie, which I wanted to try mango skin, and I can't remember the other one, but that's one that jumps out to me first of all. So I'm excited to give this a try. All right, so we're gonna do body paint on my right close to inner wrist. Okay, actually I feel like I smell sweetness, which is kind of surprising. Now, because of those peppery notes, I'm curious to see if my skin reacts to them being on my flesh. But we will see. Oh, this smells more like carrot than the last scent that had carrot in it. This smells like candy almost, like Skittles for some reason, like smelling a bag of Skittles for some reason. Okay, so there is a surprising sweetness to it. Maybe it's the pear that's leading, because there's like a sweetness to it, but it smells like a mix of different things. Now my tongue started reacting like I've eaten something hot, so I'm not sure if that's what's going on. And I feel like I would say it is, the woodiness is there, but it's not overly woody. And the spiciness is very mild as well. Again, I feel like my nose and my tongue are like reacting as if I'm consuming something spicy, even though I don't feel, and oh, when I say spicy, I mean heat. And when I said spicy a couple moments ago, I meant in terms of the clove and what, nutmeg? Yeah. So I don't feel like it's as sweet anymore, but it's very soft in terms of the way it smells. Like the spiciness doesn't feel overpowering, and I feel like that's sometimes what puts me off from spicy scents, is where it's overly spicy. But the way it's done in here, at least how it's reacting on my skin, doesn't feel overpowering. I actually really like that a lot. But oddly enough, I can't say that I feel like, as I was about to say, I feel like I'm not getting the vibe of the bell peppers. The bell pepper. I feel like I felt that I smelled it, and also I visualized it just now, because the bell pepper itself doesn't really have like a strong, super duper strong scent to me, the actual vegetable itself, but it does have a distinct scent to it. I think I am kind of picking it up a little bit more now as it's drying down on my skin. This is unusual. I feel like the sweetness has gone, at least I'm not picking it up anymore, but it's kind of surprisingly not as strong or overwhelmingly powerful in terms of its projection that I thought it would have with those aroma chemicals in here. But I suppose maybe that's those notes lend to its longevity. But it is pleasant. I do feel like the woodiness is coming out more now, so I feel like the sweetness is kind of like gone, but it's more of a woody, subtly spicy scent, which is not bad. So last up, I'm going to try a fragrance that I thought was the most interesting out of all the ones I chose, and this is Forbidden, and this comes from the House of Matriarch. So the notes in here are, in the top there's wormwood, cannabis, absinthe, and latana leaves. In the mid there's tuberose, boletus, edulis, which is a variety of mushroom, hence why it's on this list, cypriol oil or nagar motha, papyrus, tenera diffusa or damiana, pepper. In the base, there are precious woods, soil tincture, and leather. So based on this, again, I feel like this is probably going to smell green, but also have a sweetness to it with earthy qualities about it, especially with the mushroom and the soil tincture. Now, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I guess soil essence. What does tincture mean? Let me learn something. A slight trace of something. Okay, am I smart or am I smart? I think I'm smart. So I guess, yeah, I feel like I'm actually gonna like this. I feel like I will, but let's give it a test and see what it is. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna test it on the back of my hand since my hand is free of scent. Oh, okay, so I smell the tuberose. I smell, it's almost like animalic in the sense of floral animalic, like how jasmine can sometimes smell animalic. And it also has that kind of almost soapy vibe to it that jasmine sometimes gives me as well. Kind of gives me root beer vibes a little bit. And I'm a fan of tuberose, so I feel like I'm able to not only pick it up quite easily, but also I enjoy that it's leading in the opening. I wouldn't describe it as soil-esque just yet, but I do feel like it does smell rooty. I'm not really getting earthy vibes, but there is some depth to it that I feel like once I give it a little bit more time, it'll come out a little bit more. But it's surprisingly pleasant, but I still want to give it some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's say in 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to come back and give my second round of thoughts for all 5 of the scents that I tried. And I think that'll help me decide not only how it transforms on my skin, but also if I like it or not. And also how much it smells like a vegetable. Okay, bye. Hey, I'm back. So let's get to sniffing. So first we have Rouge. Okay, so it's again that earthy, subtle sweetness, but it's smelling a bit more. I can't remember which scent I described as smelling like men's cologne, but I feel like it has more of a masculine quality to it. I think because of how it smells in terms of its earthiness. And I am, again, it's not like I sprayed these scents on, but I feel like I'm like really getting in there. There's a slight woodiness, and I feel like this is one that is pleasant, but I don't see myself wearing it. And I forgot already what's the next one. Santal du Pacifique. Oh, this smells, again, I think I said this was the one that smells like the 90s, but it still smells that way to me. I don't think this is really my style because it's like a sweet woody scent. It does have a freshness still to it even though it's dried down. But again, I feel like this particular composition would probably, I could picture this more on a guy than me. And it does smell kind of familiar, and it also kind of smells like someone else is wearing it. Like I'm smelling someone else's pheromones or like clean underarm. Like it doesn't really smell like me. Like it smells like I'm smelling someone else. Next is Land of Warriors. Oh, okay, I like this. Is this the one that has all the notes to it? My memory is special. Let's see. Yes, this is. I actually really do like this one. Out of all so far, Land of Warriors is one that I could see myself owning because it's still fresh and it's actually the strongest of the 3 so far. And it also has a sweetness to it that I like. But there's also a complexity to it that makes it interesting. Like it's not just a generic sweet scent. There's enough elements in it that make it interesting. Yeah, I actually really do like that one a lot. Next up is Body Paint. Okay, so it definitely leads with a woodiness. And I would say soft spicy. Out of curiosity, I want to see what accords they have on Fragrantica. So on Fragrantica, they have warm, spicy, woody, green, amber, aromatic, musky, mossy, fresh, spicy, fresh, and fruity. I can see why it would lead with a warm, spicy accord, but I feel like I would call it soft spicy just because of the subtlety. It's pleasant, it's unique. It's not overly hot, spicy smelling, but there is like that vegetal quality to it without it being very obvious. You know what came to mind just now? As a kid, I had a bell pepper flavored lollipop, and it kind of reminds me of that, where I'm tasting the flavor of bell pepper in something where I feel like is unexpected. And that's kind of what I'm getting now, is that kind of green vegetable scent, which is kind of curious because I guess I'm not expecting to smell it, but then it's not overly powerful. So the more I smell it and the more I had that memory, I realized that I am actually picking up the bell pepper note quite prominently, but it doesn't necessarily smell like I've rubbed a bell pepper on my arm, you know? But I don't think that it's my style. I couldn't see myself wearing that scent. And last up is Forbidden. Ooh, wait a minute now. This is sweet. Again, the rootiness is prominent, and I don't really get a soily smell, which is okay. I feel like I've smelled scents that didn't list like a soil note that smelled more earthy than this. And when I say earth, I mean like dirt and soil. This does smell like root beer to me, and I'm a fan of root beer, so I'm okay with this. So a slight soapiness, but a super sweet soapiness. I could see myself wearing this. There's a warmth to it as well. So it's like a warm, sweet scent that perhaps may come off as a little nondescript to people who may not be super familiar with different notes. Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, mushrooms have a distinct taste, but I can't say that I'm smelling them, which is probably not a bad thing that I'm not picking up a distinct scent of mushrooms, but I do actually really like this one. Okay, cool. So yes, those are all the scents that I wanted to share with you guys today. Let me know down below in the comment section if you've tried any of these scents before, what your experience has been, what you like, what you don't like, and if any of the ones I've tried are ones you would be interested in picking up for yourself. I am curious. So if you liked today's video, don't forget to give this video a like, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I do encourage you to subscribe. And if you would like to support my channel even more, feel free to buy me a bubble tea. All that information is down below in the description box. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you later. Bye. All the noise as I start. So first up, I have Rouge, and this is from the house of Comme des Garçons. Is it gonna focus because it's a different camera angle? It probably will not. Ooh. So I have the 1 ml sample. All of these are the 1 ml. All of the ones that I have today are from. We're gonna try to be dainty with it. Goodness gracious. Like, I just don't want it to like, okay, I think we're getting somewhere. No, we're not. Okay, so, so next up we have Santal du Pacifique. Okay, so next up we have Santal du Pacifique, and this is from Perris, Monte Carlo. Ooh, is it Monte Carlo? So next up I have Santal du Pacifique. How do you say it? So next up I have Santal du Pacifique. Why is that so hard to say? Pacifique. So next up I have Santal du Pacifique. Ooh, baby back ribs. So next up we have Land of Warriors, and this comes from the house of the Vagabond. I was like, I better be recording. So I was just about to say I better be recording.